there, we're already live. Let me check the audio. Oh, there, we're already live. Let me check the audio. Oh yeah, how do I sound with the birds? And the trains and or whatever that is. Oh yeah, how do I sound with the birds? Oh yeah, it works fine. Okay. Hey, what's up? It's the first time seeing me on my second playthrough anyway. I'm Dan, first person looter, and I'm not playing or replaying Red Dead Redemption 2 on the PS5. Um, Here to talk about the game now that it's done. So I can just put that controller over there and wait till it says it's been disconnected because I'm not using it. Um, so, Red Dead Redemption 2, I finished it, and I guess the first thing I need to get out of the way is at the end of the last video where I was trying to figure out how the stories came together between the first and second one. I had it completely backwards. This is not a sequel to Red Dead Redemption. It is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption. I like these prequel things going on. I like prequel stories. I'm really into the Better Call Saul being a prequel to Breaking Bad. I like, even if it had mixed to negative reviews, I like the idea of Borderlands, the pre-sequel, where it was a sequel and it was a prequel to Borderlands 2. So yeah, I like that idea of prequels. So this was very cool. So now I definitely understand it more. That John, which I knew was the main character in the first one, I didn't realize that the reason we landed on him in this is not because, as I thought, he was the main character of the original one. Then we see Arthur, but we land back on that main character again. No, we're seeing how it all began for him. Okay, got it. Um, Sort of wish I played Red Dead Redemption 1. I didn't even know about Red Dead Redemption 1. When this came out, I was like, what is Red Dead Redemption 2? I never even heard of 1. Um, so yeah, this was, I really liked the game very much. Despite my, and it's funny because I'm saying that after having rage quit, and I didn't, and it took me some time to come back to it. But on my second playthrough, I definitely did have more of a handle on it. Still had my struggles, as I have with all games, and I've said that in my other reviews. I have struggles in games, I get upset. um, but if I keep playing it, then I like it enough to keep playing it, and I definitely like this enough. It is a overwhelming amount of story content, but I was able to follow it. I mean, they talked about, in the end, they were talking about going after that last bad guy, and I was slipping my mind who we were talking about. But I got 99% of the story. I understood 99% of it. And now I wonder when I see now I'm forgetting names though. When Dutch takes off, and I was like, where is he gonna go? Where is he gonna be? I guess we know that if we've played Red Dead Redemption 1, we would know where Dutch is, I guess. Um, but yeah, so while it was like almost an overwhelming amount of story, it was still easy to follow. Just sort of like I thought that Last of Us Part 2 was just an overwhelming amount of story, but it was easy to follow. And I loved it. Um, a lot of people think that it's sort of a walking simulator, that it's um, Last of Us Part 2 is sort of a walking simulator with all the walking that you do while there's talking and not any shooting or gameplay stuff really. I can understand that. But I enjoyed listening to the story while I walked around. I liked to be able to move the camera around and look at the scenery. It wasn't as open as this, but I enjoyed looking around. Um, but it did make it a little slower, the game, because you walked a lot of places. But then in this game, you had to ride your horse a lot of places. And you had to ride back to places and go through places you've already been before. So, I mean, you could say that like something like Last of Us Part 2 was slow and there's a lot of walking, but at least you're walking to new places. Um, I guess, like even when you play as, I guess these are very slight spoiler alerts for Last of Us 2. If you don't want to hear spoiler alert, I will keep my hand up, mute the microphone, and when I'm done talking about the spoiler, I'll put my hand down and you'll know you can unmute. How about that? So, in Last of Us Part 2, halfway through, you play as Abby, and you do go through areas that you've already been through before. But it's like a different context. It's, different things are happening. And so that makes it feel a little bit different. Anyway, yeah, the scope of the game, the sound of the game, the scope, by which I mean not just story, but the size of the land to travel around, the scope of the details I thought was excellent. I thought this was from 2016. I guess they probably started working on it in 2016 or earlier than that. Or did they say it was like 10 years in the making? So 2008. But yeah, the attention to detail is incredible. And I know that I didn't even look at a lot of the stuff. I've seen videos of people showing, look at the details of this. Look at how this changed over time. Look at these parts of the horses and what happens when you're cold and when you're hot and this, that, and the other thing. Look at Arthur's skin when he's hot, which I actually did see when we were on the island, that his skin changed. I don't know if his skin is changing just through regular gameplay, or if it was done deliberately for the island. I'd like to go back to that island. There was a lot of stuff I didn't explore. I don't know if there's a way to get back there. But I finally got an understanding of Deadeye. It was helpful to have all of those things that allowed me to increase my Deadeye, refill it. So looting definitely helps. Loot everything in this game. Like they said about whatever other game I was playing where they said loot everything. In this, you should definitely, I would say, loot everything. Because there were certain times where I needed as much Deadeye as I could get. I started doing the thing where I didn't always remember to do it, but at a point I was getting the reticle, like I'm trying to shoot for the forehead. I would get the reticle as close as I could without using the Deadeye. Even if things are moving and somebody's on a horseback and they're bumping up and down, I would get my reticle and I would start moving it towards him, and I would just hold the left direction on the joystick, and I waited for it to get about here, and then I would hit the Deadeye button to slow things down, and it would slow it down just for that one little part, and then I would hit the trigger. And I think that really helped me preserve Deadeye. I did think that like maybe some of the animations or textures looked a little bit less impressive when we were in first person mode, when I would switch a little bit to sort of unlock things and whatnot. But in third person it looks a lot better. I guess when things are pushed away and they're smaller, it's harder to make out any imperfections or lack of detail. But even the first person wasn't bad by any means. But third person was extraordinary. I was very happy to have tried to keep it at the widest, because it looked like there was 3 cameras. There was the first person, there's the third person, and then there was like a wide third person. And it was nice to see it in wide third person. It really opened up the vistas, and I really thought that was beautiful, to look at it that way. And again, I call myself first person looter. Mostly that was my favorite type of way to play a game. When I had the Mac, it was first person. It felt more immersive. But I was able to aim and look around a lot better with a mouse. With a joystick, things are slower, so it's much better to see more. So my eyes are flicking around instead of the mouse flicking around. I can use my eyes to flick around and look at something, and then just deal with the slowness of the aiming. And that's why I guess that's why they have things like Deadeye, and they have a lot of games have these ways of like slowing down time for a moment, because I guess they know that it takes a while for the joystick to move the aiming thing over. I looked online to see like what do I actually do in the end game, and yeah, there's like the hunting the legendary animals, and I guess there could be other side quests. They said there could be other side quests, but maybe those are all side quests that I already did because I don't see any white circles on the map with initials or anything. But I might be tempted to go through and just wait to see the little white dot without an initial, just the pinpoint white dot of like the random person who's like trying to clean the hoof of the horse and then gets kicked. I guess that's just a way to make money right there. A little bit of money. He gets kicked, he dies, you take the money from him. Or like a lady that's being stowed on the back of a horse and a guy's like, "This is none of your business." You can go and intervene with that. So maybe I'll do some stuff like that. I saw that there's legendary weapons as well, but I don't know how someone like me would ever find those weapons unless I watched a tutorial. But as I've said in other videos, I have to weigh, like, what is fun for me? Just the bottom line is fun. If I want to, I know that it's kind of frustrating to me to have to look up answers. I want to be able to figure it out myself. But the fact of the matter is, if I can't figure it out myself, what is more fun? Going through and getting angry that I can't find it, or just looking up where it is on the map? I like to think of it as sort of like, well, it's part of the game. It's like a treasure map. I find it online, they tell me where it is, and I'll go seek it out. Sometimes I like try to find maps that don't give me the full detail. Like they give you sort of like a general view, like it's in this area, and I'll go look and see if I can find it myself. And if not, then I'll scroll down a bit further and look at the next steps of where to go. So yeah, I might do that. I probably don't know if I'll stream it. I don't know if there'll be a looting later post game party for this, considering it seems like it's just a lot of sort of walking around looking for things that are those tiny little white dots, just waiting for some character to speak up. I don't want to just spend a looting later video just running around waiting for something to happen. I could do it for like the hunting, I guess, but I have to look for the bear, and I guess or whatever, and I guess that's part of it. But I don't know. The looting later was really just to go through all the different side missions and whatnot. I know for like, I guess Days Gone, I was doing all the collectibles and stuff. It just, this game takes a long time to get from place to place, and I just adding all that up. I don't know if I'll do looting later for that. But yes, so as someone that, you know, is not a professional gamer or streamer, and someone that's not able to do like 7 hours worth of straight playthrough a day and all that stuff, and has connections to the industry and all that stuff, just someone that enjoys games and tries to spend his free time playing games, especially in this pandemic where there's still, you know, still stuff going on here. Instead of like going out to all these places that are in public all the time, I still feel safer just spending the time here. That's, you know, these are, to me, having that sort of time to play the game, it is enjoyable. But I also know that there's still so many games that I want to play that I have on my wish list, that I have on disc because I got the GameStop, like buy 2 used games, get 2 free, or buy 2 and get 1 free, something like that. So I'd like to get to those. I'd like to get to those games very much. And seeing how long games can be, gotta get things moving. So, is there anything else to say? I mean, I'm not covering as much as I did, I don't think, in Cyberpunk. It was a fun game. I liked the game a lot. If it wasn't so long, I might have played it again. Believe it or not, despite the rage quitting. You know, I'm noticing this now. The power lines. I'm noticing these are power lines, not just fences, not just whatever. Things are really up and coming. I guess one of the reasons I thought that this was a sequel is because in the first one, as I understand it, there's like a much smaller portion of the map that you even get to be around in. So So it's like, oh, well, now there's more stuff to see, so it must be later in the years. There's more stuff to do, but I guess it was just the game budget. They couldn't make the world that big. Um, anyway, that's all I have to say. I don't want to my way through this whole thing and make you wait for me to say something else, so I'll end it here. I'm Dan, first person looter. I played Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2. Really loved it after my rage quit. I recommend it to casual gamers as well. You'll get the hang of it if you just don't get frustrated like me sometimes, and don't get too connected to your horse. I know it's difficult because it's your main transportation, but they're not real. They're not real horses. It's not real horses. They're not real. So I rage quit because I was so frustrated that they killed off my horse, and I got such a connection with it. But it's just a game. Like get a connection to your horse because it does. He or she, whichever horse you get, does play an important part in the story. And obviously there's that scene near the end with the horse. But if you cannot be as crazy as me about animals and not want to have your horse die, you can get through it. It takes some time, as it does with me, for every game to remember what buttons do what. And that's why I like to try to just play these games all the way through, because if I try a second game at the same time and go back and forth, then I'll really be all over the place. It's a good game. It's recommended. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. What am I saying?